Clint Eastwood doesn't just act in war movies, he defines them. From the battlefield to the emotional toll of combat, Eastwood's war films are packed with the intensity and depth you'd expect from a true icon. Let's take a look at his most unforgettable war classics. This one takes us back to Clint Eastwood's very first war movie, though you might have missed him if you blinked. Away All Boats tells the story of a US naval ship and its crew in the Pacific during World War II. Eastwood plays a Navy medical corpsman assisting the ship's captain after he is severely wounded while trying to save his ship, but his lines were dubbed over by another actor. Small role aside, this film is actually a solid depiction of the daily grind in the Navy during wartime. This one's more of a footnote in Eastwood's career. The movie follows an American pilot who falls for a Paris streetwalker during World War I. Not exactly a fan favorite, with a 25% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, it's included here for completion's sake. The behind-the-scenes drama is more interesting. Clint Eastwood was originally cast as the lead's best friend, but when Paul Newman dropped out of the project, things got shuffled and Eastwood's role was reduced. Now, Where Eagles Dare is where things start to heat up. Eastwood stars alongside Richard Burton in this World War II classic about a raid on a Nazi castle. Richard Burton wasn't a fan of war films, but he needed a hit after a string of flops, so he jumped in. Eastwood wasn't thrilled about taking second billing to Burton, but accepted when they handed him $800,000. Funny thing, Eastwood thought the script was terrible, so he asked for fewer lines and got most of the action scenes while Burton handled the dialogue. Kelly's Heroes gives us a fun, action-packed World War II heist movie. Eastwood plays a US soldier sneaking behind enemy lines in France to grab a secret stash of Nazi gold. Eastwood took the role mainly because his favorite director, Don Siegel, was supposed to helm the film, but Siegel had to bail due to post-production issues. With no way out of his contract, Eastwood stuck with it. Watch for a nod to his spaghetti westerns in the standoff with a tiger tank. The scene mirrors the good, the bad, and the ugly, complete with the music and sound of jangling spurs. In Heartbreak Ridge, Clint Eastwood plays Gunnery Sergeant Tom Highway, a tough-as-nails Marine tasked with whipping a spoiled recon platoon into shape before he retires. Eastwood not only stars but also directs this fictional account of the US invasion of Grenada. Fun fact, the US Defense Department originally supported the film but backed out after seeing a preview. Despite that, many Marines vouched for the film's authenticity. And here's a first. This is the only war movie where Eastwood both starred and directed. Clint Eastwood may not have a big acting role in American Sniper, but his presence behind the camera is unmistakable. The film tells the story of Navy SEAL sniper Chris Kyle, whose sharpshooting saved lives on the battlefield but left him struggling with the war back home. The real Chris Kyle once said Eastwood was the only filmmaker he'd trust to tell his story. Kyle's father even told Eastwood and Bradley Cooper he'd unleash hell if his son's memory wasn't respected, but he ultimately trusted them to do it right. Keep an eye out for Clint's cameo around the 4-minute mark, casually entering a church.